Okay, so back to the foot exercises. One of the things I like to do before I ever get to this is to work on some things where you're going to teach them that you're going to relieve some stress from them, because sometimes what they do is they perceive the tension that sometimes is right in a muscle, and then they want to bite you. So I take some time and I work around a lot of different things before I get to the paw. The paw is really sensitive, and there's a spot right there where it's almost ticklish. And it's also the spot that has just an amazing release right in between the toes. So if you hold that skin a little bit right there, you'll feel it up against their center paw. So what I like to do is create a circuit right there, and you can tell she wants me to continue doing it. And when they feel the release, sometimes they can misperceive it being the sensation being that it's you causing it instead of it just coming out. Because a little bit of the stress, that's what happens. So when you go over the paws, I go over every teeny little spot. And there's this foot massage that really, this is where all the tension in their body is. They have no chance to get off their feet. Now, one of the things you'll see is that what I like to do is build up a bond relationship where they ask for what it is that I'm doing right now. And they come up and they basically either give me a little nudge, or they'll sometimes put their paw right in my hand. And there's also times where it gets a little too intense. You want to back off. So the top parts of the bone, right on their fingers also, is just like this intense place where stress comes out. So both the top and the bottom of the paw, and inside right in their fifth paw, it's right there. And what I normally do is I put my thumb up against it, and I let all this stress come out. And you can see her licking my hand because it's all pouring out of her body. That's right, sweetie. Okay, so the twitch sometimes is an indicator that you've tapped into that right spot. And there's definitely a few things that if you watch Joy, you'll see the changes when I get there. Sometimes what I also have to do is hold right here so they don't pull back. And that's why I start off sometimes with my hand on their heart. And what I do is I create a circuit of love that then I'm sending into their heart. And you sort of step on it with your mind and send in a little bit of affection and love at the same time. And I've always said there's two types of love. There's affectionate love, and then there's sort of an infinite kind of love that just comes out of your heart, and it's similar to a parent or a loved one that maybe isn't normally affectionate. So the heart part I go back to. And I get them to relax a little bit. And there's also this spot right at the base of their tail. So if you sort of figure out these three spots and rotate between the three of them, you can really tell when all of a sudden the stress is just pouring out of their body. And what they do is they ask you, so that spot coming out of the base of her spine makes their head go a little tingly. And I'm going to show you how I do this, okay? So we go over the whole body, and before you know it, there's this wonderful tingly thing going on in their whole body. I used to call it tingly kisses because Charlie used to try to shake them off. And it was the cutest thing because I would come up and I would get his schnoz and I would give him a few tickly kisses and I would then rub him in. So I started learning how to take a little bit of that tingly tickle and sending it in a wave of love. And then what I do is about 3 or 4 of them, and they can't shake it off. It's basically bouncing around is what I say. There's this kiss that's bouncing around in her. Except it's really now, it's love. So I want to go back to the spine spot right at the base of the tail. You've got to be really careful because as you can see right there, it gets a little intense. And that's what I like to do, is give them a chance to basically say that that's been enough.